Hello, everyone. It's Sean Ellis here for Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And tonight we have as our guest Peach State Paranormal. So we're going to have these three lovely ladies on, and we're going to talk about paranormal stuff and etc. We had a little bit of difficulty here with firing up, so we got it corrected. So here we go. The first one I will introduce is Miss Kelly. How
Hey,
you doing,
Sean.
Kelly?
I'm doing well. How are you
And
tonight?
just fine. And we have Michelle.
Hi, Steve. Sean,
Hello.
sorry.
It's all
I'll get
good.
it right.
And we have Miss Stephanie.
Hello, good
So
evening.
you guys been busy
How are
lately?
you?
Just fine. How are you? You guys been busy lately?
Busy with life, not as
Yeah.
much with with paranormal stuff. Um, I'm a little out of the game for a few more weeks with a torn Achilles, so anything I'm doing is remote. I'm doing in the background.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of pulled and torn muscles before, so it doesn't feel good. That's definitely for sure. So let's start out with Kelly here. What got you into the paranormal, Kelly?
So I've always had an interest ever since I was a child. Anything weird, I gravitated towards it. As a teenager, we were having a home built and rented a house. And I was 14 at the time, and that house turned out to be pretty haunted. A lot of strange things happened in the house to the point where my father, who is a huge skeptic, we don't know what he experienced. He would never talk about it, but he ended up breaking the lease, and we quickly moved out of that house and moved into a different rental house on the other side of town until our home was finished. And so after that, I just my interest was piqued. I was also starting to I wouldn't say understand my gifts, but I had other things happen as far as some of my gifts of being an empath and clairvoyance, and from there uh, things kind of grew. I started suppressing it. I got a little bit wigged out because there wasn't a lot of resources out there to help people like us. You know, if you tell people that you see and know things that you shouldn't see or know, they tend to think you're either crazy or just weird and want you to stay away.
Or trying to or trying to
Yeah,
find a straight jacket, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so it really wasn't until the past probably 4 years that I started opening myself back up and embracing my gifts instead of trying to continually shut them down because that really doesn't work. And then by divine intervention, I met Stephanie and Michelle, and a whole new wonderful world of things opened up for me with my abilities. I'm still trying to learn all of my abilities of what I can do. The past 3 years have really been an eye opener, a huge awakening for me, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Exciting a lot of the times, scary other times. Um, but it's been a beautiful journey with two ladies who are my best friends.
That's cool. Michelle, how about you?
Oh, I've been aware of the paranormal since I was 4. Spent a lot of my life trying to ignore the paranormal, and it kept finding me. So that quickly changed when I became a teenager. And as I got older, I just started doing things for people I knew, word of mouth. Never been on a um, team until about 3, 4 years ago, an official team. I've had my own team with myself. I have a daughter who is just like me, which is a bit unhinging when they're growing up, and she's seeing things and not telling you, and I'm seeing things and not trying to tell them or scare them. So
Right.
things pop in your house when you have a child who does the same things you do, and it's kind of hard to keep things out. So just decided that I needed to do this. It's something I needed to do. I couldn't find a right fit until I met these two ladies, and we all joined a team, and quickly realized that we were alike, we were connected, and something that we needed to do was move forward with a team, with each other. And we're very in tune with each other. We work well together, and we love each other. So it's the perfect world.
That's cool. Miss Stephanie.
Well, pretty much, Kelly and Michelle summed up. We come from the same backgrounds, but different, if that makes sense. Our experiences were the same. Certain aspects of our interests are the same, and then just how we found each other. I mean, it's just the same. I have always had an interest. I've had experiences my whole life, kept them to myself. Tried to share them with a few close people, but you tend to stop doing that when you get the I call it the side eye or the crazy eye. They look at you and you're like, what are you on? Do we need to, find some help for you? It wasn't until I met these two ladies right here that I knew I had found my people. And from there, we've just grown and blossomed together. We enjoy our time together. We enjoy investigating together. We enjoy helping people together, which is a huge aspect of what we do. And the main driver of what we do is helping people.
That's great, because that's one of the things that I stress to my team is we like to help people and take care of the situations that are there. Do you notice when you three are together that your abilities start growing, or you start learning different things from each other?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes,
And I would say
strong
they're also
too.
heightened as well when we're together.
Yeah, I definitely noticed, when I've been around some of my former teammates, the more you're around them, the more heightened it seems to get. So that's always a good thing. I should say, what is the weirdest or strangest thing that you have encountered?
There have been a few.
I mean, it's all
Well,
weird.
Yeah, it is. We encountered something we call an it a while back, probably, oh gosh, it's been 9, 10 months ago now, I would say. And the it kind of follows us around from location to location. But we try not to give it any recognition or, talk about it or think about it too much, because we don't want to give it any power. But yeah, we've encountered several its, and trying to, even between us, we'll try to explain it to each other, and we hesitate because we think, we're going to look at each other and think we're all crazy or something. But
And is this a human it? Are we talking about the human it or the non-human it?
yeah, no, we're talking about the non-human it.
The non-human one.
Got you.
Did it come from the human it?
Well, we have
Well,
a human it and then a non-human it. So,
we have a
that's
couple.
funny.
We have we have a couple people. Use that loosely. We have a couple entities that like to follow us. One is non-threatening. It's some lady, and we don't know why she likes to follow us. And then we have a not nice it that just likes to hang out and watch us. It kind of makes the rounds between the three of us. Kind of reminds me of some type of a I don't know, a scout or a spy. Likes to spy on us and then report back to whoever it reports to, like what we're doing or not doing. And so we just try to ignore it. Literally.
That's crazy.
Right. Doesn't work.
I'm going to turn on my phone here. For some reason, we're not getting comments on the stream. So I'm going to check to see if I can pick them up with the phone. I don't know why it's acting up tonight.
Probably because of the
But
heat.
it seems, yeah. Sometimes we've run into issues where we can't see comments, and then I'll turn my phone on, and then I'll see comments on my phone. So if we see some pop up, then I'll relay them here. Turn this down here a little bit. Sometimes it'll have to watch both screens in just in order to catch them sometimes, because Facebook does act up quite a bit here lately. So do you think that they're following you because you have a lot of, how do I say, positive light that they're attracted to?
The female, I would say yes. Yeah, she follows us for that reason. And I mean, she doesn't necessarily want us to help her. She just seems to be maybe there to kind of offer support, kind of guide us if we need it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, I think it's kind of maybe to try to at some point prevent us from doing something that knows we're very well capable of doing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it,
Trying to
yeah,
figure out.
this entity or this entity's boss gets a little antsy with us when we close certain portals. And we were closing a big portal on an investigation, and the thing inside the mirror kept mirror jumping and actually tried to attach to me at one point, and thankfully it wasn't able to, but we managed to make it a little bit angry. And so we don't know if the nasty it that follows us around is just trying to keep an eye, or like what Michelle said, maybe trying to stop us from doing something to help somebody human wise, well, maybe even a spirit wise in the future. So we're not really quite sure what it wants.
Could also just be
Oh,
nosy.
interesting.
So it
So
doesn't, I
it's
mean, it
just kind
never
of like
tries
a more. Huh?
it's not really aggressive. It just kind of hangs out and watches. It's strange. And it will follow us. I mean, it's followed us on trips and investigations.
Interesting. Have you ever opened up a portal and say, "Here you go, you can go back home"?
No, we've
No,
had
we're
to,
not into the
no.
habit of opening them.
Yeah, no, we'd rather close them, not open them.
Yeah, opening for us is probably not a good thing to. I don't want to say it's not a good thing to do. It's just some things you just don't really want to go there, because you don't know what, when you open it, you don't know what's going to come through. And
That is true.
I'd rather not leave fate to chance on something like that.
Yeah, especially on
I mean,
purpose. Now, people can do it on their own without even knowing it. Sometimes the energy and the conditions are just right. Maybe you just had one thought and it was a traumatic thought, or maybe it was just a very positive thought. But on purpose, we're not in the habit of doing it on purpose.
Hello,
Right.
Derek from Eternal Paranormal. But yeah, I've opened up portals and let them go back through, and I've just kind of kept an eye on them when I've done it. But I don't make it a habit to open them to let things out for sure. But they can definitely go home. So that's really interesting. So do you each have a specialty of your own? I mean, on the team, do you each specialize in something particular?
We're
Kelly?
very similar in our gifts and what we do. Very similar. Kelly and I are very good at reading pictures. Stephanie kind of leaves that to us. I don't want to speak for her, but she kind of does leave that to us. And it's really strange, though. I would say, and I think you two would agree, that on every investigation, whether it's private or public, if it's for a client or if it's for fun, our gifts will heightened at different times and in different situations. Where we're all three good at something, maybe on one investigation, only one of us really comes through with that one gift. And it's really strange how that happens. It's like maybe we just have a better communication with an individual, a spirit who's at that location. It's called, I know you've probably experienced this. They sometimes pick somebody,
Yeah.
So I would say that. But, we're all psychic mediums. So all three of us. We really enjoy helping people, helping trapped spirits, helping people understand what's in their homes, or if they want it to go, or if it's harmless, or if it's negative in any way. And we also love just to go do our own thing so we can try to learn more, use new tools or equipment that we may have found, and learn how to intertwine our gifts with equipment. Because when you're doing this for someone, you really have to have some kind of evidence. And we can't just say,
Right.
well, we know this lady's over here in the corner. So I'll say for me, it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle because the gifts come in, and I've always said this, when I go into a location, I don't have to have a tape recorder to tell me there's somebody over here sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
So it's been difficult for me to try to figure out how to, really use the equipment to prove what I already know, or semi, can you really prove paranormal? Validate. Good. Thank you, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So, our favorite tools, I guess it's most for every paranormal group, a camera and an audio recorder.
And the REM pod. I think what our gifts really allow us to do is figure out certain areas in a location to do the setup. And then we really enjoy, being able to capture evidence, whether it's digital recorder or camcorder or something, because a lot of times when we've identified an entity or several entities, we'll start asking, questions. And then we use the REM pod as a tool to interact with that entity, as well as, spirit box. We like to use the Estes method. So we'll use that method a lot. In addition, to that, we'll have some pieces of equipment out there. The tripwire, we've had a lot of success with, the tripwire going off with certain things. But like Michelle said, it's, we don't necessarily need to have equipment to tell us that there's something there, and whether or not that something's a good something, a not so good something, whatever the case may be. But it is nice to use the equipment to try to capture evidence to validate what we're saying. We're good about validating each other, but if someone's not like us, or they're a little skeptical about, our gifts, it's nice to be able to put together, some evidence clips and a report and say, okay, well, this is what we experienced as being gifted people. And, here's what we found. And here's the evidence of what, we have no idea why there was this voice on this reporter, or, what we captured on film, or we don't have any idea why nobody was in this location or in the building, and this REM pod kept going off several times. We don't have an explanation for that.
Right. I definitely agree with all that. I agree with using yourself as the instrument is the best thing to do, because you can feel, like us that are gifted, I guess I should say, we can feel what's bad, what's good. And when you walk into a certain room, you get that heavy feeling, or you got that light feeling, and you can tell the difference in what is in that room. When I was on my former team, like you were talking about, using equipment to verify it, I was standing next to one of my teammates, and I said, "It's right next to me." And he goes, BS. I said, no, it's standing right next to me. And he got the EMF detector out and stuck it right there, and it went clear up to the top. And he's like, what? And then he kept walking around trying to figure it out. But I was like, no, it's standing right there. And it would move. And he's like, how the hell did you do that? And I was like, you just got to feel that energy. You got to feel that energy when it's next to you. And he's like, it just changed his whole perspective of things, because he wasn't a super believer in it. But after that one, he's like, okay, I'll give you some validation for this. Because like I said, it was standing right next to me. And the whole time we were teamed up with another team at the time. And I noticed it was following the female on the other team. And that's how we ended up getting rid of it, because we ended up going into the basement and it kept flicking my ear. I kept feeling it flick my ear. And I walked up to her because she was standing in front of me, and I gave her all my crystals except for one crystal. And I asked her for some salt. So when I backed up, it followed me and kept flicking my ears. So then I put a circle of salt around me and it, so it couldn't go anywhere. And then I ended up taking care of it and getting rid of it. But right before that happened, the guy right next to me said he felt something walk right through me, right next to me, right before it happened. So until people experience it, until people
it's not very much
experience
fun.
They really,
Yeah, it's when you feel something trying to attach to you, that's not a lot of fun. And I think that, I love for skeptics to come on investigation, and a lot of times they will leave an investigation and they're not so skeptical anymore.
Yeah, or they get scratched. I've seen them get scratched. The ones that don't believe, all of a sudden you'll get a couple scratches. It's like, whoa, nobody's around you. You got scratched. But yeah, that's really interesting. That all three of you, so that'd be a trinity or a triunity of the three of you together working as a team. So that's actually pretty cool for the power of three. And I noticed when me and my teammates are together, because there's three of us that are empath and clairvoyant and that can wield energy. And when us three are together, you can definitely tell the difference when we're out in the field. So it's definitely pretty cool. You've got one here. It says, Yeda watching Haunted Angels. Hello, Haunted Angels. People are starting to pop in a little bit here.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like I said, with the equipment, I would say my favorite is to verify for everybody's the REM pod. Setting it next to it and having it activate and say, hey, blue for yes, green for no, or whatever, and designate it, and then you get positive responses. So I'd say the REM pod's probably my favorite out of instrument wise.
Yeah, I also enjoy my EMF detector. We do a lot of baselines on location and record those just to make sure that, to validate that during the investigation, if we start having certain types of EMF spikes, that, we've already identified, power boxes, or maybe different household appliances that may be having a higher EMF reading than normal. And so there have been a few times during an investigation where maybe we're going up or down stairs, and then all of a sudden, we're on a landing or even in the middle of a staircase, and you just kind of feel something, and then the EMF detector starts going up. Well, we already had the baseline there, and the baseline was like a 0.2 to maybe a 0.4. And then all of a sudden the EMF detector starts going, bonkers up to, 20 plus. It's you can't really dispute that, because there's no reason for it. We don't carry equipment that would give off, those type of readings or anything like that. I mean, a cell phone will give out like 6 milligauss.
Right.
But when the detector is going off, gosh, I think one place there was, where I walked past something, I can't remember, and it went up to over 60 milligauss, but there was no explanation. It was a wall. And so it's kind of cool when you start looking at the equipment and knowing that, okay, I've got this recorded. We always wear body cameras. So again, even when we're doing baselines, we'll have the body cameras. I would say one of the funnest baseline readings that I've ever done was we went to this place called the Jasper Jail here in Georgia, and we were in the women's cell block, and I had a carbon monoxide detector, and I was sticking it through the iron bars to see if I could get readings. Now, there's absolutely no natural gas in this building whatsoever. They had some electric, and I don't think they didn't have running water in the jail part, did they?
Not upstairs. No.
Yeah, there was no heat, there was no AC, there was no gas, and there was maybe a 2 by 2 foot area of the metal bars where I would stick the carbon monoxide detector in between bars, and it would start going off like crazy. The alarm would go off, and then I'd pull it back out and nothing. And I kept doing it just within this confined area. And then I would move to maybe 2 feet down to another section of the bars and do the same thing, and nothing would happen. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen on any of the jail cells on the inside. There was another cell. There were 2 cells in the women's block, and so it was only happening with this one cell in one small area, and nowhere else in the building did the monoxide detector go off. So that was fun.
Hello, Shaggy.
Yeah, it was.
So as I was kind of skimming through your page, which one of you actually had your name spoken out, and what did you think of it?
I think we've all had our names spoken
Which
out.
time?
Yeah, which time?
I think Kelly, you're the one that posted that.
Yeah, that was my posting. So this was an investigation that we did an old plantation home here in Georgia, in South Georgia, private home. And hey, Randy. And so we were actually closing up, packing everything up, and my son was on the investigation with us, and he put camcorder down on table, and we were just doing our thing, and I was reviewing the camcorder, and I get to the very end and heard my name. And that was actually, I think that was one of the first times I've ever heard my name. And boy, I whipped those headphones off, had to stand up, went and grabbed my rosary, got out the sage, was smudging the room. I was a little freaked out by it. It's happened a few times since then. So I don't want to say I'm getting used to it. It's weird because, you don't hear it out loud, and then you're reviewing your stuff and you hear it. I did hear it again doing Estee's method with our PERS team. I was on investigation earlier this year at the May Springer House in Florida, and we were doing Estee's, and I felt this entity was being a little bit sassy. I don't think he liked women very much. But I wouldn't say we were getting aggressive with the questions or anything. But all of a sudden, I felt like 2 cold hands pressing on my back. I heard kind of like a growl sound, and then all of a sudden, a man's voice came over the SB, the spirit box, and it said very loudly my name, and I was done. Michelle have some stories of their own about hearing their names as well.
I mean, I've heard my name 1,000 times throughout my life. When you do what we do and you're a medium, these spirits come to you. They want help. They want something from you. So And it's always, it's always the middle of the night. And I'm like, can't you people do this in the daytime? I'm trying to sleep. So, yeah, I mean, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
You got to remember,
Yeah, it doesn't
3
bother me
a.m.
anymore.
is the thinness of the veil.
Yeah.
3 a.m. in the morning is the thinnest of the veil, so they're going to start squawking at that time, not our times. That's definitely
Honestly,
for sure.
it's not one specific time for me. It could be all hours of the day. They in my experience, it could be when I'm at the grocery store or walking through the park or when I'm in the kitchen cooking. It's just all hours of the day and night. And usually at night when I sleep, I've gotten to the point where if I notice them, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to bed. Leave me alone. Go away. I let them know I've got business hours. So if it's something they need, they know they need to come back in the morning, not at 2 in the morning.
I think it's one thing
Have you ever been on
telepathically, but not on audio. That's what creeped me out.
right? Have you
Oh yeah,
ever
no, I've
been on an investigation? Go ahead, Steph.
oh no, I think there's
Go
a
ahead.
delay, so you picked up first. Go ahead and finish your response. It's okay.
I was going to say, have you ever been on the investigation with the three of you and one of you had to walk out in order to get any responses? Since you're all three
No.
gifted, I mean,
Mm-mm. No, we haven't.
No.
Where we have multiple spirits, one may be speaking to one of us and another spirit speaking to another one of us and that sort of thing, trying to tell us a story that we need to put together. So we do get that often where, they're speaking to us differently. And then later on, we put the story together.
yeah. I've been on an investigation where me and my mentor that was a Reiki master, it would tell us right over the ovulus, don't like us, leave. We would have to walk out of the room. And depending on what we felt like it was, if it was a heaviness or not, we would stay or not, or stay, etc. But sometimes we just have to walk out of the room, and then all of a sudden they'll get chatter. They'll start talking to everybody else in the room. They just didn't want to talk to us. So we've ran across that before. So it's kind of interesting. So, but it seems like you guys are kind of meshed together very well. So that means your energy is all combined in some way. So that's really cool too.
It is. I mean, it's to the point where we have actually shared the same dream at times. And, if one of us is maybe having a tough time, or I don't want to say trouble, but maybe there's an entity like something similar to that, maybe bothering one of us. We're very in tune to where, there have been times where, Michelle has been like, Kelly, there's some guy in your house. He needs to go. The same with Stephanie, or sometimes we've been on, a Zoom call, just chatting with each other, and, we'll see somebody has a visitor. And, so that happens, more often than not, but that's how in tune we are. I mean, I can remember, this was probably a year and a half ago. I had something not very nice, come visit me in the middle of the night. I mean, this thing was like in my face, and I went through the whole sleep paralysis thing, but I was awake. So they call it sleep paralysis, but I was awake and couldn't move,
Right.
couldn't speak, was screaming in my mind. And Stephanie heard me, and I think Michelle heard me as well. And it you don't find that kind of connection. That's not a normal thing. And at first we weren't really sure. We were like, wow, that's really cool. It's a little bit scary, but I think now we love it, and we've embraced it because we always know that we're there for each other. And no matter where we are in the world, if one of us needs help, we know that the other two are going to hear us and send help. And that's pretty cool.
That's definitely cool. Have you guys had dreams of places that you were going to prior before you've been there? and knowing what things look like
Yeah.
before you've gotten onto the property?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
A lot. But
So-
we don't share that information with each other because we don't want to skew anything or give any impressions that would lead the other two in a direction. And so,
Right.
we're way into an investigation before we start sharing any information. And sometimes we don't at all until after we've already left. So, that makes it even better. It's great verification between us. Because, even doing what we do, and as long as we've done it, we still doubt ourselves. You've always got the people out there that are going to doubt you. And believe it or not, some of them are paranormal investigators. Or so-called paranormal investigators.
Right.
That doubt you can do what you can do. But we always find a way to make sure that these people get where we're coming from, and we always put those stories together every time.
That's cool. I mean, that's really, it's interesting on how you do that as well, because when I go out onto the field with the team, since now that I'm lead, I try to find out a little bit about the place. But normally, if it was just me going in by myself, I really don't want to know anything about it until after I leave, because then that'll verify anything that, like you said, I've already experienced there. That would verify what I've found. So that's kind of the way I like to do it. But then with the team now, and have to talk to the owner of the place or et cetera first to get everything set up prior. And I tried to get him to tell me as little as possible so that it doesn't contaminate what I think as well. And then to find out what my team finds out. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. What do you ladies think about the guys from TAPS?
Jason Hawes. I love them. I wish I had their van. That's like my dream vehicle right there. That van, all the equipment.
The van and the equipment that they have.
Yeah, I would die for something like that. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely take their
like
equipment,
them.
man. That's
I
pretty
think they're a good
badass.
team.
For me, TAPS, they're finders, but not fixers.
I
what
would
I-
agree with that as well.
I've always enjoyed their shows, and I think a lot of Jason and a lot of their team members. I think they're good investigators, but like Michelle and Stephanie said, they're finders and not fixers, and I think that's we want to fix, is and again it depends on what the homeowner wants or other entities.
Exactly.
If it's a public place, we don't want to mess with their ghosts, because that's what they're making their money from, is the hauntings or whatever.
Right.
But especially in a private residence, they have a problem, and we're there to help fix their problem as best as we can. And if it's a problem that we can't fix because it's really going into the dark side of paranormal, which is rare, then we have people that we can call to come in and help us deal with some of those things. We don't ever want to put anybody in harm's way, compromise our reputation, compromise a family, or anyone else. We know our limits, and are not afraid to ask for help if we get into a situation. And thankfully, knock on wood, that hasn't happened to us as of yet. But I think that's important for people to understand, that you don't always know what you are dealing with, and it's really important to know what your limits are as a person as well as a team, so that you're not doing more harm to a client and you're not doing any harm to yourself or your teammates.
I definitely agree with that 100%. Like I said, it's all the stuff that I've learned so far. We kind of chatted before the show a little bit on some of the stuff that I've dealt with. You got to know your limits for sure and what you're capable of dealing with. And like I said, I've got friends that I can always reach out like you guys do, to help and assist if we do get in a situation like that. So that's always a good thing to have. And you're always more than welcome to call, and I'll help you out as well. The door is always open here with the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal team. If you ever need help, we're here too. So don't be afraid to call. Have you guys meditated like with crystals? Do you use any meditation techniques and use crystals?
Yes.
Yes.
I use very few
Lots of
crystals, unless I think that I really need some like backup or some reinforcement there. I love meditating. I think it's good for grounding, clearing your mind, preparation, just releasing some stress and some energy that is no good, when you hold on to it. I love meditation. And I like music meditation. I'm not one of those people that can go sit in the backyard and just listen to the birds and trees, because my brain won't let me. I'm too squirrely. Like, it just won't happen. But if I put on some meditation music, that's really good for me. I dig that.
I definitely
I'm not
agree
a
with that, 'cause
crystals
I'm kind of-
girl. I'm not a crystals person. I don't use them personally. I never have. To me, it's just a rock. And I'm more toward, I'm more of a spiritual paranormal person, honestly. And that's how I approach it. It's from, it's from a God perspective is how I approach all my paranormal investigations and things like that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's wrong for someone, but it's just not for me.
Right. Everybody's got their own beliefs and how things work for them. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Kelly?
I do a combination. So I am very spiritual. Always have a cross on me in one form or another. But I also embrace the metaphysical. So I do meditate with crystals. I use a lot of crystals, and I like grounding. I have an herb garden, so I like to get my hands into the herbs and make herbal teas and different things, just to kind of ground myself, and create positive energy, positive vibes.
It's awesome.
And you know what I would say grounding for me is I go watch some TV. I mean, it works for me. So whatever works for you.
Right. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody picks up things different. Everybody learns different, and etc. And I have to actually favor on Stephanie's side, because I'm more of crystals and meditation and high frequencies and understanding that, because it seems like I learn more when I'm doing my meditation and picking up on different vibrations when I'm doing that. So that's something that I really like doing. But like I said, everybody's different and etc. So, but I can relate to Stephanie and how she was talking with that, and everybody else as well. So, because everybody is different, and you got to realize that's what makes us unique, because we all see it different, feel it different. It's like apparition. I've only seen 2 full apparitions in my life, and the rest of them that I see, when I see an apparition or similar to an apparition, I see energy in the air in certain locations. So that's where I know it's at. I see the energy waves in the air, and it's not a full apparition, but I can tell what's standing there. So that's, like I said, we're all different in our own ways. So, well, we're coming up on the hour. So would you like to go maybe a little bit longer, or you guys got a limit here?
I have a limit. I have a 5-year-old that, like I said, turns into a gremlin if he stays up too late. So I will be saying adieu here shortly.
Okay, that's fine. We can just end it. We can have you guys back on at a later time, because I'd like to continue this conversation. You guys are very interesting, and our teams are somewhat similar in a lot of ways. So that would definitely be a good thing we can do again, is have you guys back on at a later date and continue the discussion that we're having here. And
Would love to.
maybe one day,
Enjoy it.
maybe one day, who knows, maybe we'll team up somewhere along the line.
That would be great, because
would be fun.
we love to collaborate with other teams. We're a part of the Paranormal Existence Research Society, so we're the Georgia chapter. Bill Slovin is our director and founder of the PERS team, and the main team, or the original team, is located in Florida. We have a team in Nebraska, but we're all about collaboration with other teams. We love talking with other teams and sharing notes and sharing different techniques and learning, because nobody out there is a true expert. And, it's like it's kind of hard to validate some of the things that we do. And so for us, one of the most important things that we can do is share our experiences, and then learn from other people's experiences, and just, through collaboration and, making friends along the way that like to do what we do.
That's definitely true. I've made a lot of friends doing podcasts so far, and every one of the ones that I've had on the show is more than welcome to come back all the time. And I would love to collaborate with any one of them, because they're all interesting in their own ways, and they do things a little different. And I've learned some things through podcasts as well, talking with everybody. So, that's a good thing when we're doing it. I'm still waiting on you ladies to pick a date for show Body Slam. Yeah, Randy's really cool. I've been on Randy's show already.
We're trying, Randy. I'm gonna have
Randy's really
I'm having surgery Tuesday, so give me a couple more days.
Yeah, I've been on Randy's show. He does a great job. He contacted me in the blue one day. He said, "Hey, come on," and I was like, "Wait, who's Randy?" So I started checking him out and watching a few of his shows, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do." And then ever since, me and him has been talking quite a bit. And Randy's a really good guy, and he does an amazing show, and so does Tracy Jones. So check them out if you get a chance. They're both really cool. Randy will actually be on my show here in a few weeks, so that'll be fun. I'm going to have to pick on him, because he used to be a professional wrestler, and I used to cage fight. So we might have to talk some smack.
That's
Nice.
funny. Yeah, but no, Randy has asked us to come on, and we're trying to coordinate dates. And, like I said, I've got surgery on my Achilles on Tuesday, so I'm going to be out of pocket for a few days. So I'd like to just kind of get over this hump. And but Randy, if you're still there, we're working on it. Promise.
But yeah, Randy's really cool, and he does a hell of a show. So check him out when you get a chance. And actually, Miss Jones just popped into the lineup here. Miss Tracy Jones. Hello, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
She has a show called The Paranormal White Witch, and I've been on her podcast as well. She does a really good job as well. So, well, ladies, I appreciate and thank you for coming on the show tonight. And we're definitely going to have a round two, because I'd like to finish this conversation when we have a little more time. And it's definitely interesting. And hopefully, maybe someday the Eternal X Wolfpack will team up with Peach State Paranormal. So
Thank you for having us.
yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Sean. We enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming, ladies. I'm going to set you guys backstage, and I'm going to close out the show. Stephanie, if you have to leave, that's okay. And like you said, I know you got the little one to watch, and
Thank you.
hope all goes well, and he don't turn into a gremlin on you later.
Me too. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to set you backstage. Yes, that was Peach State Paranormal, and a great group of ladies there. Sounds like they do one hell of a job, and our team and their team's got a lot in common. So it's interesting to talk to teams that you got a lot in common with as well. So Next show, I have July 7th at 7 p.m. I will be talking to Mr. Derek McFadden from Eternal Paranormal and his new show that he's got, Ghostly Encounters. So we'll be discussing that next Sunday, and I'll be looking forward to that. And you can find the girls at Peach State Paranormal on Facebook and peachstatepara@gmail.com. So everybody have a great night. I hope you had a great as well. And we will catch you later. And thank you everybody for watching and joining in. We appreciate it as well. Have a great weekend, guys. We're out of here.